Joining me is Alex Ray, the owner and one of the founders of the Common Man restaurants. So Alex, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And we're in your newest venture, the Common Man here in Hooksett, in the toll areas. But before I get to that, I want to start with sort of the beginnings. Were you born in New Hampshire, by the way?
Nope, I'll never be a native of New Hampshire no matter how long I live.
Neither will I.
But my two children will be.
So when did you when did you move here?
I was born at a very early age in New Jersey.
And so you moved from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Did your parents bring you here, or did you come here?
No, at 14 years old in 1959, so you do the math. My parents had vacationed here since the 40s and said, let's live there. So we moved up to the Conways. And I went to Kennett High School. And I couldn't have been a worse student. It took me 5 years to get through high school. And
so that's a good lesson for all those kids that are struggling, that success can come with work.
Work
and what you love.
Work ethic is a very important part. Depends what success is, but I agree. Work ethic comes from your roots, I think, not at school. But anyway, I went to Kennett and was a poor student, worked at Claremont, all in North Conway, all women, all girls, waitressed, and all guys washed dishes and cooked,
So you started out in a prep work or the dish.
Yeah.
Did you always know you wanted to be in the restaurant business?
It's the only thing I've ever done. And I mean, as a kid doing newspapers in New Jersey, before school and after school. But I remember the principal, we had a love-hate relationship.
For 5 years.
For 5 years. So he said, so Al, what do you want to be? And I said, I like architecture and civil engineering, but I'm going to go to cooking school.
So did you go to a cooking school?
Yeah, CIA, which was it's Culinary Institute of America. And it was then in New Haven, and we fed Yaleys.
Huh.
It's a 2-year school. It had 125 kids then in 1964, and now it has 2 campuses, East and West Coast, 3,000, 4,000 students.
Yeah, now when people say the CIA, you're not sure where it's cooking or whether it's spoof. So let me ask you this. Was the Common Man your first restaurant?
Yes, really. In 1971, I got out of school in 67. I said, I'll never work in a restaurant because it's long hours, stressful, just very difficult. I had done it up till then, and I went into institutional feeding, which is factories, colleges, hospitals, and I remember after my first year, the guy said, you're good, but you won't be here in a year, and he was right. I said, why? He said, you're not corporate material. And at 21 years old, I didn't know what he meant, but I do now. Now I am one, and I don't like it.
So I'm going to get back to that, but let's talk about the first Common Man. Was it just you, or did you have a small group of people that made it happen?
It was when I left that job I just mentioned, and I was looking for something to do, and I rented a small motel up on Squam Lake in Holderness. I had a little breakfast place. I couldn't buy it, I didn't have any money. And then I bought a brick house in the town of Ashland that fall. Our summer place was so successful that I bought a little brick house, and that was the genesis of the Common Man. That brick house in a little town of 1,500 people, and it's
still there.
Oh yeah.
So and actually that's the first Common Man I ever ate at, and that was in the 80s, I believe.
Yeah.
With my wife and her family.
That's 45 years. This December.
So that's quite. And you started with one. How long before you got to the second one?
I was a slow mover, slow progression. I dabbled in a few things, little pizza and beer place up in Lincoln at Loon Mountain, but effectively in '85 we opened the Common Man Lincoln, and that was just identical, a bigger old farmhouse. We built a barn, and that was number 2.
So it's a long time between the first and the second
11
one.
years, whatever it was, 13, I don't know, 71 to 85, 14.
Now, have you ever gone back to the high school? Have you ever talked to the principal in the intervening time?
Not the principal. We just had our 50th reunion last year.
I'm just curious, as we think about success and what you did, and I'm going to go in the restaurant business, and that's it.
And I did. That was it. Never changed.
All right, we're out of time in this.